Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Anthony Gamer. And in this week's episode we're going to discuss games that you probably never knew existed. With both game systems and computer systems having games that go into the thousands, I mean as far as like Commodore 64, there is no accurate number of how many games were actually made for that system because some of them were homebrews and stuff like that and weren't released by major game companies. And there are some times that games that are released by major game companies kind of get lost in the shuffle. And today we're going to be discussing games that you probably didn't know exist. And of course some of these are a little bit different than your average run-of-the-mill game. So without further ado, let's get started.
And our first game for today is Dr. Ruth's Computer Game of Good Sex. This was released in October 1986 and was programmed by Bob Gardner. Dr. Ruth Westheimer is a world-renowned sex therapist. She's had radio shows, TV shows, and has written 45 books on sex and sexuality. What I like most about her is that she always comes across as caring, understanding, and easy to talk to. She always presents her advice with respect and with a little bit of humor. And this comes directly from MobyGames.com. The description: a text-based quiz game about human sexuality. Dr. Ruth did the questions along with her researchers. It is a time-based quiz game where you have multiple choice. These are not obvious, and sometimes you have to choose the only true or false answer among the 4 or 5 choices. There is a countdown clock, and your score also is modified by how fast you answer the questions. To be honest, I really enjoyed the game. If you happen to miss a question, don't feel bad because she will give you an explanation to let you know kind of why you missed the question and what the correct answer was. But to be honest with you, this is not a game for kids. Definitely not. So if you happen to have an old Commodore or DOS or an Apple II, this is one you probably should keep away from the kids.
And our next game is going to be a very rare one, and one that was only discovered in the last couple years. And this is the E-Crew Development Program, or simply called the Mcdonald's Training Game. There's a whole long story behind the gentleman who found the game and then dumped it later for all of us to use. And he has a video where he explains the whole story. I highly recommend you check it out, as it's got a pretty cool story behind the whole thing. What's interesting about this is that this could be something I think that other companies could use as a training tool. Once you check it out, you'll see what I mean. And if you have any experience working at McDonald's, like I did when I was in high school, after watching this, my only reaction is, wow, I wish we'd had that back in the day.
Alright, now this comes directly from Wikipedia. E-Crew Development Program, ECDP, also known as McDonald's Training Game, is a rare educational video game created by McDonald's, released for the Nintendo DS sometime in 2010. It was only ever distributed to the company's own restaurants domestically and never released to the public. Alright, so the game teaches the player how to cook various McDonald's menu items and perform other restaurant tasks, and was used to train new restaurant employees. It features several game modes and features, including simulations of food preparation and customer interaction, quizzes, player profiles for employees and managers, and performance statistics. Now, luckily, the version I have actually has been partially translated. You can kind of figure some stuff out if you go through the program and discover the games and stuff. It's really interesting, and believe it or not, this game was actually supposed to be distributed to all the McDonald's in Japan, which at that time was 3,700. Like I said, this is a great idea. I hope that in the future other businesses, including maybe the McDonald's in America, will make something similar.
Benny Hill was comic icon in the 70s and 80s and into the early 90s. A lot of his comedy was I guess you could say, a little on the perverted side and probably wouldn't fly in today's sensitive times. However, other than that, his comedy also featured a lot of musical acts where he would tell stories and jokes within a song. He also did a lot of slapstick humor, as he was a disciple of Charlie Chaplin. This game that we're going to talk about today, called Benny Hill Madcap Chase, is actually kind of like the show, but I honestly have to say it actually kind of shows you a little bit about what the real Alfred Hill was like in real life, in some ways, as he was noted by several of his close friends and colleagues as being a very generous and helpful person, and that's what you do in this game.
Alright, Benny Hill's Madcap Chase was released in 1986. It was published by DK-Tronics, and it was released only for the ZX Spectrum computer and was programmed by Don Priestley. In this game, you take on the role of Benny, and you are going through 3 levels of work to try to help out the community. Unfortunately, Benny's generosity is misconstrued as theft, so you have to flee as quickly as possible. On the first level, you're taking laundry from a clothesline to the laundry basket, one item at a time, avoiding the local busybody. On level 2, you gather apples while you're being chased by a tractor, and on level 3, he collects bric-a-brac, much to the police's panic. The game itself is really a lot of fun, although it can be a little... You kind of got to be real careful where you place Benny as you're moving, because sometimes it kind of gets confusing as to where some of the obstacles are, and it's running into stuff happens quite a bit. But overall, the game is a whole lot of fun, and for those of you that are Benny Hill fans, this will be a pretty pleasant surprise for you, like it was for me. And our next game is Super Trolley. This was published by Mastertronic Limited, developed by Icon Design Limited, and was released in 1988. The programmers were Dave Edwards and Paul Atkinson, and this game was available for both the Amstrad CPC and the ZX Spectrum. Alright, in this game, you take on the role of an unnamed stock boy in a grocery store, and your job is to keep the shelves stocked and the floors clean. There's over 30 different foods, ranging from bread to milk to eggs and carrots, etc. And you have all kinds of fun stuff getting spilled, and things done in the grocery store, such as vandalizing kids, unhoused trained dogs, and shoppers who like to take their items off the top shelf. Really a fun game, and your ultimate goal is to become the manager. The game itself is really a lot of fun. It was actually based on an idea by a teenager. If you have not played this game, it's a whole lot of fun, although for some people that work as stock boys, it may induce nightmares, but I'm just saying.
One thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I am a trained clown. I actually went to clown school and all that. You'll see that picture of me right up there. Anyway, one of my clown heroes always has been Charlie Chaplin. I just loved his style, the whole pantomime thing, the character, the little tramp. I just loved everything about it. So when I learned of this game, I knew I had to check it out.
Alright, the game Charlie Chaplin was published by US Gold Limited in 1988. It was designed by Gary Bolton and programmed by Stephen Ward. In this game, you take on the role of Charlie Chaplin. You are doing what he himself did. You are assigned a movie, or in his case, he wrote the movie. But, anyway, sorry. You are the star and director of these films. You're going to be making different scenes, and then you get to edit it, and then you show it to an audience and see what their reaction is. If you continue to make money, you will continue to make more films. One of the problems that a lot of people had with this game, in the reviews that I've seen, was that there weren't any clear-cut objectives. basically, I found that if you edit the scenes down a lot, you can actually get a higher approval rating and make more money for the films. As a Chaplin fan myself, I just knew I was going to like it regardless because it was a game about Charlie Chaplin. If you yourself are a Chaplin fan, or if you like old black and white movies, this is definitely a game for you.
Our final game for today is the amazing Virtual Sea Monkeys. Now, for those of us that are older, which many of you that watch my channel are around my age and older, you were probably one of those folks who got suckered into getting the sea monkeys. Now, for you younger folks who don't know about it, when they would sell you this cool little, like, aquarium look at it. Well, here's a picture of it right up here. No, I'm going to put the pictures on this side. Okay, never mind. Picture's going to be up here. And you would buy this in the store, usually at like a hobby shop or even sometimes at a CVS. They were all over the place in toy stores. And on the package, they would show these cool little humanoid-looking creatures that you could have for your very own. And of course, as a kid, you're like, wow, that is so cool. And you would buy the kit, which came with 3 special packages. One with eggs, I believe it's a water cleaner, and with their food. Water conditioner, something like that. Anyway, so you would put all this, you would follow the directions they gave and all that stuff, and then you look at them, and they had these little magnifying discs on the aquarium, and you would look, and that's when the disappointment would set in, because they look nothing like they do on the box or in the advertisements. Basically, they're miniature brine shrimp. Itty bitty little things. It's the kind of stuff that if you have an aquarium and you have cichlid fish, you would probably feed them to your fish. In preparation for this video, I did a little bit of research, and the sea monkeys are still around today. Although they claim that they did something with them with the breeding and whatever, that they actually will live longer. When I was a boy, they said they could live up to 2 years. Well, mine I don't think even went past 3 months. So, and of course the prices of these kits have gone up. The starter kit that I got as a boy, that was about $5, now goes for $30. It probably was about that with inflation. But anyway, and they even have a real big one. It looks kind of like a crystal ball, kind of like those things you played with as a kid where you touched them and the lightning was, you know, the electrical thing. And that's like $150. And they claim that they can live 2 years and up. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Now, I didn't know what to expect with this game. Actually, I kind of thought it would be like having the sea monkeys in real life, but just in, virtually. But that's not what it was. In this game, you take on the role of Nautica, who's a babblefish, which is used to indirectly influence the environment within a huge tank. Alright, you get to suck up dangerous fish, clear rocks, supply food for your sea monkeys. And you have to try to reach the Venus shell as soon as you can. It's kind of like, how can I put this? It's like a poor man's Lemmings. This game was actually almost as big of a disappointment as the sea monkeys themselves were. Just a couple quick things. It was released for the PS1 and Game Boy Advance. It was published by Conspiracy Entertainment Corporation and was programmed by Ralph McKire.
Also, if you know of any games, computer, video, console game, whatever, that you think are pretty obscure and a lot of people probably haven't heard of, let me know about it in the comments section below, or contact me via my social media outlets, as I'd love to make more of these.
In our next episode, we will discuss Project Toho games.
Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Classic Gamer 74. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to share with friends and family, and click that little bell icon down there so you'll be notified when I upload new episodes. Well, until next time, I'm Anthony Gamer, and I wish you all a very safe week. Until next time, be strong, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and above all, take care of each other and be kind to each other. See you guys next week. Bye!
Sir Ramsay Watson cried. Sir Ramsay Watson cried.